be afraid of shilling. Never be afraid of trying to get people to enjoy what you do, to get them to appreciate what you do, to buy what you are selling. There's nothing wrong with that. And this video, what am I doing? I am shilling my Patreon. Yeah. And I'm going to be shilling it by showing you some excerpts of the last 5 videos that I put up on Patreon. The 5 videos that were on for the month of October. I put out 1 video every week on the Patreon channel, and well, here are the samples. Acquiring something to fulfill a need that you have. And so quite naturally what happens is that most people, they rarely study themselves. They are simply reacting to the stimuli around them. They like this, they don't like that. They like this, they don't like that. And like that, okay? But they don't look into their hearts and look into themselves and look into other people to figure them out. But this great flaw of our society can become a great strength for you. I mean, after all, the one-eyed man is king in the land of the blind, right? And here we are talking about a social blindness. Everybody is blind to the issue of who they are and what drives them. What's the tick-tock that makes people do what they do? Yeah, because when I say study yourself, study others, right? What I'm talking about is figuring out what motivates yourself and motivates other people, okay? And a lot of times, figuring out what motivates you is actually exceedingly difficult, yeah? Because you are not able to step outside of yourself and objectively look on yourself and figure yourself out. I mean, but it's much easier to look on other people and figure them out, right? If you look at somebody, you look at their behavior, and you study them for a while, it's often... She'll do that relentlessly until she's absolutely sure. That's how it works. These shit tests, they don't go away. And they're constant. And you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared, and you got to recognize too that it's not personal. She's not trying to shit on you. She's not trying to, how can I put it, be nasty to you. On the contrary, a girl will only give a shit test to a guy that she is seriously considering. She won't waste her time with a guy that she does not take seriously. Yeah? A shit test, when you start getting shit tests from the girl, it means that you're on track with the girl, okay? And that's why you have to prepare this shit. Don't think that you can just laugh it off, some shit tests. These shit tests, they're very, very serious. Because, see, a girl will never really want you until you have passed the shit tests that she puts on you, okay? So understand how crucial they are, but don't freak out about it. The way you have to handle them is with humor. Yeah, humor always wins. In shit tests, absolutely. You make a joke about the shit test. Because if you're really confident in whatever it is, the quality that she's testing you for, if you're really confident in that quality and you laugh off her shit test, or do the meta thing of like sort of like taking a step back and saying outright, oh, you're shit testing me on this thing. Okay, let's try it. Let's go. You know, and making a joke about it, that will earn you even more points. See, because if you, for instance, if you putting out very valuable content, and they happen to be women, you know? They're perfectly fine, and there's nothing wrong with them. But what I mean that there's nothing wrong with them? It's that they are not thoughts. So what do I mean by a thought? Okay, a thought is basically a woman who is using her sexual attractiveness to get attention rather than the strength of her views. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. A thought is not simply a woman. No, she's doing something deliberate. She is using her, quite frankly, her boobs, her pretty face, and her ass to get attention get attention from guys so that they can pretend to be paying attention to what she's saying, but they're actually paying attention to her boobs and her pretty face and her ass. Yeah, that's an online thought. Now, why am I doing this video? Oh, very simple. You have to understand why this mass migration happened in the Western democracies. And ultimately, it was just one word: money. Do you know when mass migration started in the Western democracies? Huh? I can pinpoint the date. It was October of 1961 in West Germany, or what was then called West Germany. What happened was that there were not enough truck drivers in West Germany. Yeah, because of the Second World War and what have you, and the dip in population and whatnot, there were just not enough truck drivers. Or more to the point, see, there were truck drivers, but they'd have to be paid a lot more money in order to cover all of the trucks that needed to be driven. And the West German capitalists didn't want to pay more for a truck driver. And so they started importing Turkish drivers. That's how it started back in 1961. Well, in 1961 there was a law that passed, but the Turks were the ones who started it. Turkish truck drivers. That's how it started back in 1961. And these workers were supposed to be in West Germany for just 2 years. But in short order, by 1964, they changed the law so that the Turkish workers who had been brought into West Germany didn't have to go back after 2 years. They could stay. And the reason being was that businesses lobbied so that they could stay because they didn't want to be spending all this time training the workers, and then in 2 years the worker had to leave. It would take, say, 6 months to train the worker, and the firm would only have 18 months of productive labor for that worker, and then back to Turkey the worker would have to go. They didn't want that. They didn't want that, and so in 1964 the West German capitalists lobbied to change the law. And that's when it started. Something similar happened in Great Britain. They allowed the this aunt and her friend had both been flashed by this pervert. They were perfectly fine. Okay, they were not traumatized by it at all. Because ultimately, trauma depends, or trauma's impact on you depends on how much importance you decide to give it. The fact of the matter is, at this time, we are living in this crazy-ass age where people get social points for being more traumatized than the next person. And so people go out of their way to say, oh, I was traumatized, oh, it was so horrible, I was me too, me too, me too, you know? All traumatized by things that, you know, are not necessarily pleasant, but they're not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? I once heard some woman say that there was nothing worse than rape. Now, rape is very traumatic. It's an awful thing. It's a violent crime. It's rape. It's horrible. Yeah, but I can think of a whole number of things that are much, much worse than rape. Murder. Instantly. That's instantly worse than rape. Yeah. Or like some medieval tortures, right? They used to break people on the wheel. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's horrifying, right? Or somebody who was drawn and quartered. Look that up. That's horrifying. Between being raped and being drawn and quartered, I'll take rape any day of the week. No question, yes. But see, the thing is, the reality, nobody wants to know what is the worst thing. What they want is to feel special because of their trauma. They want to talk about their trauma and have people believe that they are special because of this trauma. But the fact of the matter is, dwelling on any trauma only weakens you. It weakens you and makes you less of a man or less of a woman. It owns you. It defines your existence. We've all suffered horrible traumas in our lives. Some people have been raped. That's awful. I'm not saying that it's not. Some people have been, I don't know, shot at.